Hello, everybody. How's it going? Good evening.
What it do? What it do?
Do you like chamber films, and what is a good one? Yeah, dude, I like chamber films. Hold on while I shut down this. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I like chamber films, man. There's a lot of good examples of chamber films. Some that you may not hear on a lot of lists. Here's a really good chamber film that's not going to pop up on a lot of lists. There's a movie called Exam. And I won't spoil it for you by trying to explain it. Those that have seen it, love it or hate it as they may, know that it is a very spoilable film, so I shan't do that. But Exam, a great example of a chamber film. What's the name of that last song you played? It was really good. That is Dope Smokin' Hippie by the Skunk Junkies, a band that my friend Morgan Cox was in the late 90s. He was also in Apple Nasty with me. If you like his music, you can find it by going to Google and searching Mocrux 27, all one word, no spaces. MOCRUX 27 will be the first thing, will be his SoundCloud. Good drummer, yeah. That drummer's name is Brandon Swallow. Really fucking talented dude. I think that band could have went places, honestly. Like, it's a shame it didn't. Just Morgan is a totally singular like talent in my mind. He's the single most talented person I've met. He's like a quadruple threat type of dude. He plays multiple instruments at a mastery level. He's got that voice. He's a songwriter. He's a playwright. He's an actor. He just kind of does everything a little better than everybody else. Which, you know. Can you get a fart? Sure, man. We all deserve a fart now and again, don't we? What exactly is the definition of a chamber film? It's a film that is shot primarily in one room or location. So a real classic example would be Rope, which is a Hitchcock film. It takes place all in one basic room. So there you go. What is your uncomfort food? Is there such a thing? I don't have an uncomfort food. Celery. I do have an uncomfort food. I had to think about it for a second. Night of the Living Dead, mostly. Yep. For the most part. I would say that Night of the Living Dead, I wouldn't argue with you that it's mostly a chamber film. It definitely has some scenes that take place in wider open spaces and stuff. But, yeah. Yeah, I heard Wilford Brimley died. I talked about it on a flash fried like a week ago, I think, or something. I don't know. Talked about it. Been there, done that. Ah, fuck it. What am I saying? Where's your gun, Grady? Did the stream crash or something? No, it didn't. It didn't. 100 years in internet time. Thanks for the buck, my friend. Did I miss any other? Nope. That's fine. Appreciate the buck. Sorry if this is a low energy stream. That's just the way it's going to be. It's the way it's going to be tonight. I ain't got much gas in the tank, but I don't know. I'm bored of playing video games and distracting myself that way. Dynor's doing great. Dynor's healthy as a horse. Yeah. I just don't got I've said this about streams at the beginning of them, and then they've ended up being great streams. So I don't know. But there's a chance that tonight's stream is just me going like blah 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 blah. What's your favorite? I don't know. It's hard for me. And then like 2.5 hours later, I'm like, well, that's about it. Dude, hardcore Highdeology people have all seen a show or two at least like that. It just happens sometimes, man. So I used to be a KFC dude, but I had some Popeyes today that was so good it flipped me. Yeah, I mean I've heard that. I could give a fuck less about KFC or a Popeyes, but did I miss Jack in the Box? No, not really. I mean, yeah, like old school Jack in the Box. Like if I could still get a jumbo Jack that was good, yeah, I'm gonna fall asleep to the stream. Mind doing some relaxing whale noises? Sure, I'll try and cue you up some relaxing whale noises, bro. I'll do that for you. I'll get some of that going so you can get some sleepy time in. Okay, let's see. All right, you ready? Some relaxing whale song. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Let the creatures of the sea sing you to your lullaby. Let the beautiful creatures of the sea let you sink deeper and deeper into the dreamland world or whatever the fuck it is you're seeking. You hear them calling you. They're down there in the deep, and they're calling you. They want you to join them there, deep, in the dark. Just feel yourself melting away. Melting, sinking, ever deeper. Remember that you could have had it bad while you're rolling in the deep. Your friends down here, they don't judge you as you pass them, as you sink deeper and deeper. Further and further. Pass so many friends. And they all stop to give you a gander. But certainly none of them wants to hurt you. None of them is judging you as you're judged on the surface, down here in the deep, in the dark. Float deeper, deeper, deeper. You guys think he's asleep? Do you think he's asleep? Should I keep going, or do you think he's asleep? Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. And if that diamond ring turns glass, Mama's gonna buy you coming for you. No, not that one, not that one, not that one. What's another good lullaby? Feel like you're waiting for a jump scare. I would never do such a thing to you. Why would I ever do something like? I thought you knew me, bro. I thought you knew me better than that. I would never bring the mood way down and the vibe way down. Only to. See, I told you there was no jump scare. Or is there? You had a real shitty day. Thank you for streaming. It's okay, dude. It's okay, Lord of Duck. Crazy duck raising motherfucker, you. Kick your shoes off and relax with us. Hello, everyone. Do you know how many landscape industrial companies start off with the owner's initials? How do they stand out from the crowd? You got to stop naming yourself shit like JP Hanworthy, landscaping or whatever. You got to be something like Cut Yo Grass or something. Kiss My Grass. There you go. You got to get creative, and most people they can't do that. Least I can do for your beautiful performance. Well, thank you, Kyle. Kyle Dish. Looks like you did pick the perfect night to take shrooms. Or did you? What do you think Naughty Priest does for a living? He's actually answered that before in here, like vaguely, which is to be expected because, what he really does for a living is nobody's fucking business. But I think he does farming or something. I think he's like a farmer. I think he's like the world's most preeminent salt farmer. He farms the salton seas. Paul is having way too much fun with that sound effect. Oh, Brianna. You're probably right. I am having a little too much fun with it. Or am I? TJ did get to 200 tonight. To 200 what? 200 what's? 200 flippy bones? 200 stinky waffles. £200. 200 pounds. Oh, Naughty Priest is over there giving money to fucking TJ and Jay Dorky. Naughty Priest. I thought it was my genitals you wanted. That's okay, though. I appreciated your emotional honesty on Flash Friday today. Okay, well, that's cool. I'm glad. It's I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's just like there's a lot of pressure on everybody right now. There's a lot of stress in the world, and it's been getting to me for a while. Do you rather eat bad nachos or bad tacos? Bad tacos. Bad nachos are just the worst, man. Soggy, bad nachos. A bad taco, you can choke that shit down, you know what I mean? Paul, do therapists help with depression and anxiety? They do. Microwave drippy nachos from Taco Mac. Yes. Yes. Don't know if this is relevant, but I did some math earlier. Someone working for $12.50 an hour, 80 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, have to work 20,000 years to be 1/200th as rich as Jeff Bezos. That seems fair though, because Jeff Bezos does 20,000 to the nth power more work every day than your average worker. So people just need to grab them bootstraps and pull. You see. There should be a DFF fast food joint. All the items named after you could be the highest in sodium. Yes, of course. All the salt menu. Like the sides, like the fries and the onion rings and stuff that all have like good Paul names. Tie me up with your bootstraps. A young woman named Brianna Kump was found today, tied up in a tree, hanging from her neck with bootstraps. Police are investigating. Anyone with information is encouraged to call 555-5555. If you were a pro wrestler, what is your gimmick? If I was like, had I gone down that road in life, I would have definitely wanted to be the heel rather than I would have never wanted to be like a face wrestler. So my favorite gimmicks in wrestling were always like the more like animalistic kind of weird guys. Like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is George the Animal Steel. He was just like this big fat dude with hair all over him. Like he had a hairy ass back. He was disgusting. He had a big purple tongue. And his kind of like gimmick is that he would like eat the turnbuckle to expose it, you know, and spit the fluff everywhere. And then he'd slam people's faces into the turnbuckle. Also like Mankind, you know, for like an attitude era example. Mankind is, you know, I liked his whole gimmick. So I definitely want to be something like that. Some weirdo. Some crazy freak in a mask that never speaks, that, you know, always gets one over on the faces. If your ex-girlfriend leaves you for 2 other guys, is she a hoe? And is it wrong that I still miss her? Is she a hoe? No, unless she's selling it to those 2 other guys. She just decided she wanted to double up. I mean, can you blame her? It's like, I can stay here and have 1 dude, or I can leave and have 2. Hard to argue with that math. I've checked the math several times, and it checks out. Does your cat go crazy at night? Yeah, dude. Cricket at night is like a fucking insane hunter. We hear him like prowling, and he makes these like yowling noises like a tiger. He's like, "Rawr," and then he'll like run from one end of the house to the next. Who knows what the fuck he's doing, man? But I'm telling you, after hours, it becomes the jungle up in here. Just get 2 girls for yourself and then you're even. That's good advice. Make them like her mom and her sister. Be like, oh, yeah. That's cool. You're dating 2 guys. It's all good. No salt. I'm actually dating 2 girls too. I think you might know them. Alicia, Monica, or as you know them, mom and little sister. Well, you know what I mean? One thing led to another, you know, and we're in love. Two women, twice the problems. I mean, look, everybody's got their fucking, look, Everybody's got their shit. Like, don't act like women are the only ones bringing problems to relationships, dude. I'm living proof of that, okay? If women were the only ones bringing problems to relationships, I would be the most sainted human being on the planet. I'd be the first to tell you so. I would literally be the first person to go, yep, it's true, but it ain't. Some men need two women. Some men need alcohol. Some men need two women and alcohol. You know? I mean, what are you going to... Who am I? Who am I to stand in the way of your dreams? Nobody. Like, say what you want about me. You know what I mean? Whatever legacy is left to me before it's lost to history, say what you will about me, but never say I stood in the way of another man's dream. I have reached the mountaintop. And despite what they may say about me after I am long gone, never once did I stand in the way of another man's dream. Never once did I impede a man on his own journey up the mountain. Red flags and a female for you, Paul? Red flags. I mean, I don't know if I'm the best dude to come to for fucking relationship advice. I got to be completely fucking honest with you. I got to be completely honest with you. I don't know that I am the dude that, like, I don't exactly have the best track record. I've been in, let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been in 4 what I would consider long-term relationships in my 40 years. So, and the fact that there are 4 separate ones lets you know what my success rate is. So, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm your relationship advice guy. You know, I follow my heart. That's the advice that I'd give you. When it comes to like that type of shit, follow your heart. Do what you have to do. Take your lumps, try it out, be crazy, make a wild decision every once in a while. Follow that heart, man. Keep your eyes peeled. Try and use your head, but realize that it's no longer in control. And submit yourself to the fucking roller coaster that is human relationship. Learn the hard lessons. Because you're gonna do what you're gonna do anyway. That's why I hate giving relationship advice more than anything. Like, people aren't gonna follow it. That's the thing. Is like I could sit here and give you guys the wisest, most fucking sage advice ever. You know, I could tell you all the ways that I failed and all the ways that you could possibly avoid it and all the things to look for, and not a single one of you motherfuckers is going to listen. You're going to do the exact opposite of what I tell you to do. So it's just like that I think you have to do it that way. There's no, like, don't be going to other people asking them, like, what should I look out for? Blah, blah, blah. It's just like, people don't know. Think other people know any better than I do? You got to learn. You got to learn just like me. And that is the hardest way. Paul, is it wrong to put a thief who feels their action were wrong after they did it? Is it wrong to put a thief? I mean, can we really convict a man of an action he's ashamed of after the fact? What? I'm not even really sure what you're asking. The question is kind of malformed at the beginning. So if you want to try again, you know, chat's not like racing tonight. So I'll try again if you want to correct it, or maybe rephrase the question. Maybe that might help. no men who think really deeply about women retain a high opinion of them. Men either despise women or they never thought seriously about them. I think Otto Weininger, whoever. I think Otto might have had some problems with women. I think he might have had some built-in fucking insecurities and prejudices when it came to women. But I may be wrong. No, that's not my fucking observation. I've lived with women my entire life. I was raised around nothing but women. And I have found that women come in pretty much the same varieties that men do in terms of problems and aggressiveness and red flags and all that shit. It's like there's assholes of every gender. There's assholes of every sex. So, what are you going to do, man? There you go. There's my fucking relationship advice. If she seems like an asshole, she probably is an asshole. She comes off like an asshole, she's probably a fucking total asshole. Yeah, that's the best I can do. And I've always tried to follow at least that. I've never dated anybody that was a total fucking asshole. In fact, I would say that I've probably been the total asshole in more people's lives than I could credibly claim to have under my belt. I've definitely been the asshole in a couple of women's lives, in various ways. I guess in every relationship that I've been in, I've been the asshole in some way. I'm not to blame for everything that went wrong in every relationship that I've been in, but I've definitely contributed my part. You know, there's some wisdom for you. It takes two to tango. It really is less about the other person and more about coming to know yourself well enough and being secure in yourself enough to live with another person and to know when it's working and when it isn't. Like that's the most important lesson. Hello, pause ego. What animal would you base a fursona off if you had one? I have one. A blobfish. I'm a blobfishkin. Never trust a big butt and a smile. Poison. Poison. Belle Biv DeVoe. Bump, 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 bump. If I were you, I'd take precaution. Do, 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 do. I haven't heard that song. Well, no, actually, I listened to that song. Did I listen to that song like a couple of weeks ago? I think it came up on my Spotify. Belle Biv DeVoe, man. BBD. Don't. Not a lot of people around even remember Belle Biv DeVoe, man. Paul, if you had a Hoboken. What? Should I is that a band? I think that might be a band. I'll leave it up to the fucking Spectres, but that just seems like something that was made to be a nonsense fucking sentence to just make me angry. But I'll leave it to the Spectres to decide. She's driving me out of my mind. That's why it's hard for me to find. Can't get it out of my head. Miss her, kiss her, love her. That girl is poison. Makes me want to do the Running Man. Ever seen Gigi Allen live? Fuck no. What kind of hobo would you be? The kind that has like his lunch tied up in a handkerchief on a stick. And he's got like a real dirty, close-shaven beard and a hat with a hole in it. And he hops off the train and whistles his way down the tracks and, you know, hitchhikes every once in a while and just rides the rails, man. Favorite ICP song? I don't know, man. They got quite a few songs that I like. It's been a long time since I really sat down and listened to a lot of ICP. And I don't like doing favorites anyway. I like House of Horrors. I like fucking, I don't know, dude. I like some I pretty much any ICP song before The Wraith is worth listening to. How's that? Would you consider gastric bypass? No. Would you live on lunar or Mars colony? Sure, why not? Be careful, Paul. Killing some hobos is a favorite pastime. Are you serious? Or are you just making that up? Best live streamer ever, dude. I am, look, the cream of the crop which riseth to the top. It is a goddamn crying fucking shame that so few know of the wisdom that is Highdeology. But it's also probably for the best. The less people who know, the better. That keeps the wisdom more concentrated, you see. Concentrated wisdom. A depression is defined as 3 years with at least a 10% drop in GDP. Well, I think we're in year one of a question mark economic depression. What Sopranos capo or boss would you most like to work for? Least. I think it would probably be dope to work for Junior, honestly. Like when it comes right down to it, like until of course, you know, he goes out of his fucking mind. But assuming, you know, he's still in good health and shit, like being close to Junior, I think would probably work out the best for me. How does that room fit that galactic brain of yours? Dude, I don't know. I asked myself that question earlier today. I was like, how does my giant, pulsating, veiny, knowledge-filled brain even fit through the door into this room, let alone exist in this room? And, you know, if anybody's going to figure it out, it'll be me. Because I've got, you know, I'm the one with the giant, jiggling brain. I've always thought of myself as that Wojak meme where the brain is so big that it has created the chair that like he's riding on a beast that's made of his brain on a world that is made of his brain. You know what I mean? Like everything emanates forth from his brain. And like that's really the one that I think is me the most personally. Like that is the meme that I identify with, I think most closely, is the Wojak that is riding on like a giant elephant that's made of his own brain. Yeah, his brain beast. And he's like he's on the back of the elephant brain beast, but then he's on like a throne on the back of the beast that's also made of brain. You know what I mean? That's me, you know, pretty much. I literally never knew the name of that meme till now. Thanks, Paul. Really? You didn't know Wojak, dude? We need a hentai of this. Okay. Well, fair enough. Call me up. I'll do a voiceover for it. I'll have to work on my hentai voice. Oni-chan. Nani? We'll get it. That was my, yeah, that's my hentai voice, dude. That's the one, dude. That's the number one, dude. Never do that again. I'm trying to think of some other little Japanese phrase that I know. Arigato gozaimasu. Senpai. No no chara di jiroba. No desu na fuarana. W. Sintu. No jalabunda fondida. No, no. Sintukara. Sintukara no. No jiro da baba. Fondida bunjinda. Don't jump at that. I don't know. There you go. If you've seen it, you know. And if you haven't seen it, you don't know. You know that was a pretty fucking decent fucking hentai. You know that was a decent hentai impersonation, dude. All the people out there that actually watch hentai are going, damn. I kind of wish I could like actually see what was going on in that scene. Like, I wonder what I bet a lot of them are thinking, like, I wonder what was going through Paul's head when he was doing that. Like, what was the scene in his head? I'll never tell you. I'll never tell you, by the way. All you fucking freaky ass weeaboo hentai freaks out there. Oh, I wish I knew what happened in that scene so I can go back and imagine it while I'll watch it later. Ugh. Maybe it involved tentacles in your head, but whether it involved tentacles in mine is not ever something that's for me to know and for you to never know. I know what happened and you don't want to. Yeah. The only other person that knows, dude, is Jalea. Jalea Paradigm, dude. She read my mind while it was going on. She knows. Everybody else doesn't know. So if you want to get the story, it's got to come from her because I ain't telling. I think Paul has had his stomach full of anime for a good while. I mean, no, dude, I shit on anime, but honestly, I've seen good examples of it. I've seen some that I really enjoyed. It's just not my preferred, genre or medium or whatever the fuck. And so I don't watch it day in and day out. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of it. I haven't seen a lot of anime, things that people are like. Here's the thing. Here's what I don't like about anime. When I talk about it on my channel, I can't just go like, hey guys, I saw this movie and it was really good and talk about it for a while, because the entire chat will descend into, Paul, if you liked, because, I'll just name one that I liked. I liked fucking Madoka. I watched the whole Madoka Magica shit. And I enjoyed it. Like, I really genuinely liked the show. And, Paul, well, if you liked Madoka, you need to watch Urutsuka Doji 17X Hyper Fighter Chicken Man or whatever the fuck. And you're just like, I'm never going to watch it. I'm never going to remember it, let alone watch it. But the whole chat will, like, defend and this is the worst. Like, if that was just it, Weebs would be no different than any other fandom. But here's what happens with Weebs that won't happen with any other fandom. Is that Weebs, if I start this shit, right, and I let it get out of control, and the Spectres let it get out of control, Weebs will, like, start arguing with each other in the chat. And it goes completely off the rails. So there's like 4 people in the chat having like a fast as they can type conversation about which anime is the superior anime. You know what I mean? And it makes me want to Naruto run off a fucking cliff and never look back. You know what I mean? That's what it's really not the anime that I don't like. It's the fans. I don't like the fans. And it's not even all the fans. There are some people that are like really into anime, but they're cool folk. Like, there's a difference between, as Filthy Frank would put it, a filthy, unhygienic weeaboo and somebody that's just like really into a lot of anime and shit. Like, there really is. A lot of people like to say that there's no distinction, but there is. There's like a, full-blown, can't talk about anything else, doesn't have anything else in their life but anime type of people. And then there's like people that are really into anime that are cool. I've met a bunch. I dated one for a while. Like, Ashley was really into anime, but she's cool people. Like, she could sit and have a conversation and not reference anime for like hours on end. But she could also rattle off the names of every fucking anime character that ever appeared in any fucking anime. You know what I mean? She had that. So she's an example of, somebody that's really into it and watches it and heavily watches it and isn't a total fucking disgusting, unhygienic fucking weeaboo. As Filthy Frank just nailed it with that. You can't watch anime if you don't move to Japan. Dude, I love that. I love that Filthy Frank weeaboo video. Actually, you should read the manga. Rosetta Stone. I'm learning Japanese on Rosetta Stone right now. Oh, dude, I was a big fan of Filthy Frank. You want to know who to blame for me liking Filthy Frank? Jason. It was I believe it was Jason that showed me my first Filthy Frank video. So blame his ass the next time he's skulking around in here. But I love Filthy Frank. I've watched all his videos that I can get my hands on. I laugh at most of them. Yeah, he deserves it. He deserves the success. For sure. But think about like the transition that he managed to make. He was Filthy Frank, and now he's this completely universally accepted pop star named Joji, who actually makes good music, who hasn't been Me Too'd for the shit that Filthy Frank did. You know what I mean? I don't know how he did it, but props. Like, props to that dude. Hey, Paul, longtime fan of yours since 2014. I agree with your take about anime fandoms. I love anime myself, but sadly, I find it isn't the social lubricant it should be, but rather the opposite. Social lubricant sounds dirty. It sounds like the type of lubricant that you bring to an orgy. Who brought the social lubricant? It's in the center of the room in a big vat. Just reach in. Lube whatever hole you need to. Oh, thank you, good sir. Deep Fried Brains gave $20. Thank you for that. I'm sure you've seen this old thought experiment to put dollar amounts into a perspective, but I always enjoy it. Make $1 per second counting equals 1,000,000 in 11 days, 1,000,000,000 in 31 years, and 1,000,000,000,000 in 31,707 years. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. The fact that Bezos in 10 years or less is going to be a trillionaire, assuming that there are 10 years left, is going to be a trillionaire. It's fucking mind-boggling. Like most people can't. I'm most people. I'm not pointing the finger. I can't wrap my head around $1 million, dude. Like I didn't grow up dirt fuck poor like some folks have to endure. But I'm telling you, dude, I never came anywhere near $1 million in my fucking life. I might have brushed by somebody somewhere that, had $1 million or something. That's the closest I've gotten to that kind of fucking scratch ever. So for me, wrapping my head around $1 million fucking dollars is like, let alone $1 billion, let alone a fucking trillion. And when you put it in perspective like that, it's like, yeah, I can understand what you're saying, but it's just like having that much money is really what I can't even imagine it. Do you mean income or wealth? Both. I mean, like Jeff, when it comes to a guy like Bezos, who's going to be a trillionaire, it doesn't matter. There's no difference. Everything is liquidity. There's nothing he can't attain. He's a trillionaire. There's literally nothing he can't attain on the planet. No commodity that he can't buy. No piece of property that he can't own. Maybe the White House, but he could own that. He's got, there are other ways to own the White House, as we well know. I met a millionaire. They're surprised. You know what? Here's the thing. You reminded me. Okay, so there was a dude when I worked in Arizona at the Dobson and Chandler Starbucks who invented, and you guys are gonna hate this fucking guy, but he's actually you're not gonna believe me, but he's actually a really nice dude. So a lot of people don't know this. One of the first states to roll out red light cameras was Arizona. And I knew the dude that invented them. I knew the dude that worked for the company that made the first red light camera and invented the first red light camera that takes a picture of your fucking license plate. He would pull up in an Audi, and I don't remember. I know that the newest Audi's name is like A4 or something. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like, this would have been in the early 2000s, so 2001, but it was like a little Audi coupe sports car thing with a drop top. And I used to talk to him about it all the time because I'd never seen a car like it. Like it was like, it was like an expensive fucking little car to tool around in. And he let me drive it, which was cool. Yeah, it might have been an Audi R8. I'd have to look at pictures. Let me pull up some. I'll look at an Audi R8 and I'll tell you if it was, because I'll recognize it. I spent a lot of time looking at that car. What would I put? Like 2001 maybe. The Audi R8, that looks like a racing car. No. This was an Audi. Like it wasn't a racing car. All right, let's what kind of Audi fucking coupes and shit. It was like a high-end, it was a TT, that's exactly what it was. So here, like a little, it was like a little sporty ass fucking car, but I thought it was a really cool car. It was an Audi TT, yeah. And it was the first car that I was ever in that had GPS and navigation in it. He was like, where do you want to go? And I was like, well, I was just going to tool around. He's like, well, just name a destination around here. And I was like, well, just put in my address. So he was like, doo-doo-doo on his little thing. And it was like, proceed to exit. And I was like, what the fuck? And it was the first time I'd ever experienced that in his stupid little Audi. But yeah, he was most definitely, like, at least on paper, a millionaire. I don't know if he had $1 million in liquid assets, but he made a lot of money, so. And he was a nice dude. He was cool to me. Lies? All right, dude. Whatever. What's bad is these people will likely never die because they have access to the best health care. No, I mean, even people with really good health care croak. No, nobody gets to be immortal yet. But when they do find out a way to make people immortal, you can guarantee your ass won't be able to afford it. Nor will mine, nor will anybody who isn't in the Jeff Bezos realm. Immortality will be something that it's just irresponsible to give to everyone. It must be kept amongst a select group of families, influential banking families, royalty, people whose bloodline is pure, thick, and thoroughly blue. Do you watch iDubbbz? I think you've asked like 3 fucking times, so I'm finally going to tell you, no, I don't. And if you ask, just stop, dude. Like, if I don't answer... And like, not even that. Like, it's not even that you repeated it. It's that the question is fucking stupid. What do you expect is going to come of it? Like, if I go like, yeah, I watch iDubbbz. It's like, is that what you wanted to hear? Or no, I don't watch iDubbbz. Like, what? Most entertaining right-wing commentator, Glenn Beck, Shapiro, Dave Rubin. I gotta be honest with you, I don't find any of them all that fucking entertaining, to be frank. But that's just because, like, I grew up listening to a lot of it, and so none of it is, like, novel, really, to me. I don't find them entertaining, but I don't find any left-wing pundits really entertaining either, with the exception of a few people in, like, the YouTube sphere. I like Kyle a lot. Like, you know, when it comes to like actual political knowledge and taking cues from somebody who I know is really keeping their finger on all of the politics and shit going on, Kyle is going to be that dude for me. You know what I mean? Like, Kyle's the first guy I go to. I know he's going to have a perspective that is... measured and balanced and based in fucking reality and fact, and he's got a good head on his shoulders, and I like listening to him talk. And I've gotten to meet him and work with him a few times, and he's a really fun dude to be around and talk to. So he's the guy I go to for that, and I find him to be entertaining, but I don't really consider him a pundit. You know what I mean? And then, you know, TJ, I think TJ's a really entertaining dude. Although I'll be honest with you, it's usually not TJ's political shit that really entertains me. Like, I think TJ's good at presenting his ideas and stuff politically, and I think he's good at like throwing some spice on that shit. But I really like TJ's kind of like critiques of pop culture. His like when he's really passionate about movie reviews, or his just kind of critiques of like old. I'm always drawn back to the what was it called? Like Coming Inside Teenage Girls' Minds or something like that. He had some edgy name for it, but it was all about like buying these like Teen Beat magazines and going through them. Like like TJ's most entertaining videos for me are the ones where it's not necessarily nailed to one kind of political concept or the discussion of one kind of thing, but rather his kind of broader perspective on society and the way it works and stuff like that. And maybe his more intimate looks at things that we don't really pay a whole lot of attention to. Like TJ's good at bumping into things and finding weird little aspects of our society that nobody talks about to talk about. You know, he's good at finding those little pockets. So yeah, his XR idiot videos. Yeah, for sure. But you know, TJ, like I listen to what he says politically, and I like to troll him a lot. You know, when we disagree, especially, which we have pretty frequently over the last year or so. I would say like our thinking on politics has diverged a bit. Not a lot. I think we kind of share the same end goals still, but in terms of just the efficacy of voting and stuff like that. TJ has kind of gone through a sea change, and I have not. And look, say what you want about that position. It's a consistent one. A lot of people say that it's just, something that I did as a whim at some point because I'm too lazy to vote. But it's a position that I've held and defended for a very long time. And I spend a lot of my life talking about politics. So, I like trolling him with that shit. I like making him make arguments for Biden, as unfair as it may be, and honestly, as in bad faith as it may be, because he's not making the argument that Biden is great. In fact, he openly admits that Biden is shit, which is really where the disagreement comes from. And it's one of those things that's like there's never going to be a fucking resolution. It's like he sees it one way and I see it another. It's a tough position to move away from. I don't think so. I think given the right candidate, like I've told people that, like, despite my crustiness on the subject, if Bernie Sanders had actually made it, you know what I mean? If Bernie Sanders had made it and not had his campaign scuttled for a second time, I knew he never would. But let's just say in some alternate bizarro world universe, the DNC lets Bernie Sanders be at the head of their ticket against Donald Trump, I probably would have fucking got a mail-in ballot and checked Bernie Sanders on it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that would have meant anything to anybody, but there's a good chance that I would have done it, especially given, the times that we're living in. I think there's a good chance that I would have been like, all right. I'm open to having my mind changed, and all it really takes is a fucking candidate that's progressive enough and at least a little bit radical that isn't just preaching the same fucking corporate platitudes and the same fucking walking us backwards bullshit that liberals have been doing in office since fucking the first liberal to be in office when I was a fucking kid was Jimmy Carter, and he was probably one of the better ones, honestly. And it just all went downhill from there. The extraction was at foot. The backroom deals had begun. K Street had started to take over, and if there was any integrity left in fucking Washington, it certainly died in the early days of my lifetime, if not well before. Maybe it died with Kennedy. I mean, I don't know. But I just don't, like, I can't do it, dude. There's no fucking way I can vote for Joe Biden. It's a joke. And Kamala Harris, an ex-DA, ex-fucking, fucking cop lapdog that put people in jail for truancy and minor drug offenses and shit. It's just, Kennedy even isn't even that good. Yeah, I mean, I agree he wasn't perfect, but I mean, fuck. I'm trying to think, like, when did it die? When did actual fucking respectability for our leadership in this country die? Like, when did they lose all respectability and become nothing but fucking sellouts and shills and corporate whores? If it didn't happen, like, right at the beginning of my lifetime, it happened, in the years leading up. JFK was killed by the U.S. government. It's possible that he was. It's possible he wasn't. Who knows? When women eat a placenta, they're traditional and old-fashioned, but when I do it, I'm a cannibal and under arrest. Thank you, Noxie Osborne. Paul, it was always this way. I love when somebody swoops down out of the sky like Falcor and thinks I'm fucking Atreyu and wants to give me some fucking wisdom and shit like that, and it's just this empty shit. Paul, you're railing against a cyclical machine that's always been this way since the first human baby was born till the last human baby dies gasping for air on a burnt out, choked out, smoldering planet, Paul. It was always been this way, Paul. And it always will be. It's like, get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. Get your dime store philosophy up out of here. I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't need your platitudes anymore, man. I don't care that it was always this way. Even if that's true, which it isn't, by the way, it was always this way is incredibly reductive. But let's just go ahead and grant it to you. Let's just say it always has been that way. I still fucking hate it every bit as much. I'd still be just as opposed. So eat a fat dick. You talking to me? You talking to me? You mustn't be talking to me. Don't worry, it's going to be Susan Rice. Oh, okay. Well, bullet dodged. I don't know why. I don't know. Was it me? Was it me that turned this shit political, or was it you? Was it the chat that pushed me in this way, or did I drift this way? Falcor, you mean that flying snake dog? Yeah, Falcor. He teaches fucking Atreyu how to fight the nothing, and he takes Atreyu to where the wisdom is, and blah, 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 blah. There you go. I just explained the fucking reference to you. Are you happy? It was me. Well, fuck you, Brianna. I don't trust your assessment. It's always opposite day with you. So if you're saying it was me, it was probably you fucking assholes. I don't remember either. So we'll just default as we always do and say it's chat's fault for dragging this and turning this into fucking a political conversation. It was I, you asbestos fingers, et two asbestos fingers. Paul, you could do reaction videos and rake in the dough. Rake in the dough, bro. Reaction videos. That sounds like a fucking life that would make me literally consider jumping off a bridge somewhere and seeing if an umbrella would float me to the ground. Hey, everybody, what's up? It's me, Paul Zigo. I'm back at you again. And let me tell you, Jeffree Star is up to some hijinks this week. You're not going to want to miss. You're not going to want to miss them. Cut. Let's go again. I'm going to take it from the top, everybody. I'm going to take it from the top, okay? We ready? Are we rolling? We're rolling camera 1, angle 2. Hey, everybody, it's me, Paul Zigo. I'm back with you again, and let me tell you something. Jeffree Star has been up to some hijinks. You are not going to want to miss this one, so stay tuned and check out some of this merch before we get started. Paul reacts. Paul reacts. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Jeffree Star at it again. Shane Dawson drama, Onision drama, and so much more to catch up on today's daily dose of drama. Yeah, noisy dubstep opening. And it's just like a bunch of like still frames of me going like. Oh, boy. Billion-dollar idea right there. Call of Duty gameplay intro, yeah. I could just rip off Leafy and just like do gameplay, just like do video gameplay, you know what I mean? Just do commentary. Start taping myself when I'm playing a video game and then just mute the track and just talk over it. Hey, what's up, guys? Paul Zigo back again, and just wanted to let you guys know that the world has gone fucking crazy. That's right. It's official. The world has gone fucking crazy, and if you don't believe me, just, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Just watch this Shane Dawson video. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Please, I didn't mean it. Like, can you believe this is happening? Because I can't. I've never watched Preston Plays, so I can't do that impression. I'm sorry. Or if I have seen Preston Plays, I wasn't impressed enough to have them make an impression. Wow, that was a lot of little puns around Preston Plays. One of them was a little bit of a stretch, but I think they both worked. Did you ever just wish you could use your skills and rip off 12-year-olds making vapid content? I could. I don't know, dude. I'd like to lay my head on the pillow at night and not hate myself totally. You know what I mean? Paul, make a TikTok. What? I don't even know how to do a TikTok. How do I do a TikTok? Excuse me, but what is a TikTok? Hello there, fellow kids. So what's this TikTok thing I'm hearing about on the internets? I was reading some blogs and somebody said something about some TikTok. You guys on that shit, bizotch, or what? What is it? Like, I don't even know what a TikTok is. What is a TikTok? How do I TikTok? What's different about a TikTok than like any other thing? Like, can't I do a TikTok here? Is it just short videos? So why would I go to TikTok to make a short video? Isn't that what this place that I'm on already, that I hate already, is for? Why would I go to another place that I hate? TikTok is like a Vine. So yeah, it's like a place to put up short videos. Like Vine. It's like Vine, but owned by China. Oh, okay. Well, so who gives a fuck? Zoomers only do TikTok. Oh, okay. Well, that probably means that it's going to be a huge deal. So maybe I better get litty with what the kids are doing. Nah, mean. Maybe it's time that I learn to do a TikTok. And then I will become the king of the TikTok. And everyone will be ticking my talk. And then what? Hello, fellow kids. It's me, Paul Zigo. And we about to get lit up in here. There's some fire news on the horizon. So y'all better keep your peepers right on the screen. Because don't go nowhere. It's about to be a TikTok. Are you ready? Bum 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 banana bum 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 banana do 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 do. Oh snaps, yo. That was on fleek. Anyways, it's your boy. Till next time. Can you lip sync? Yeah, dude. I can lip sync hella good, dude. I can lip sync hella good. Hella good. Hella good, dude. You could be whatever you want, Paul. I'm convinced. You could chameleon into anything. I would still be just as fucking uncomfortable and miserable as anything else, though. Extra H on the hella, yeah. That's like California hella. Hella. It almost sounds like holla. But if you're from Cali, you know hella. Hella. There were hella people there, dude. Hella. That's how you know there was actually like hella people. You know what I mean? So if somebody says there were hella people, it means there were probably like 10 people. But they say there were hella people there. It means like there was like 200 people showed up, you know? What's up, kids? You know how it is. We out here making that paper on that TikTok grind. So here's me lip syncing to Wake Me Up Inside by Nightwish. Is it Nightwish that did Wake Me Up Inside? I learned on the internet that people who aren't from NorCal don't say hella. That's stupid. Dude, the internet is fucking wrong once again. Hella people where I grew up say hella all the time. You prefer wicked over hella? Wicked is lame, dude. Wicked smart. Wicked smart. There's Evanescence. Oh. Same difference, kind of. Messing with VR at all? No, not really. I have a headset. Like it's old, but it probably worked just fine. It's like a first generation fucking, I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. But I've got like the setup. I've just never set it up. Like I don't think VR is really for me. I've never tried it. Maybe one day I'll set it up and I'll try it, but I just don't think it's for me, dude. I said this in a recent stream, but I just already get overstimulated when I'm playing games, so I don't think I need shit jumping at me from all fucking corners of the room and shit. Like, I'm very rarely looking for that vibe anymore when I sit down to play a game. So yeah, I just don't think it's for me. Maybe they make some games that are kind of fun and low key in it that I would enjoy, but I love watching you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. I love watching you guys fail to understand English, people, especially since I can perfectly understand the people speaking. Yeah. Found the English person that's salty about the constant salt that I throw at England. Sorry, England. I'm just here to white knight for English people, but I'm not even English. I can totally understand every English person's accent, and I don't understand why you guys hate on them so much. I don't understand why you hate on them so much. Found the Brit. England, yeah, no shit, dude. It's an eye roll and a fucking half right there. Imagine letting your empire collapse in less than 20 years. I know. How sad. What do you think about the violent revolutions at the fall of the communist bloc? I really don't. I don't know. I mean, I know that they happened. I don't know much. I don't really know enough about it to give you a dissertation. My favorite ICP moment was when they called Sharon Osbourne a London crumpet bitch. Yeah, on Howard Stern. Listen, you London crumpet bitch. Oh my God. Oh, yes, yes, you gentlemen are so smart, aren't you? Smarter than you London crumpet bitch. And then fucking Shaggy, who basically only has 2 brain cells to rub together, is like, yeah, you dumb cunt. Listen here, you dumb bitch. Why don't you go home to that junky husband of yours? Put the fucking needle in his arm, give him another squirt of junk, and then roll him into the studio and put out another album nobody's gonna fucking listen to. You just like some English guy is here talking. All I hear is something about all the hobbits and the One Ring. Yeah, yeah. I get about like 1/3 of everything most English people say, unless they speak with that like high British accent. Then I hear it all. You know, like the Daniel Craig Bond accent. How do you like your lamb? I prefer mine skewered. Oh, nothing much. Just heading round the way, you know. Errands and all that. So how are you today? Oh, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Well, may the sun shine upon your face, good friend. You know, that like highfalutin British, but most of them are just like those weird like mud fish type of accents. Like, oh, what I do is scrabble around in the mud. And every once in a while I find myself a mudfish. And I takes it right over here and I puts it in my basket that my wife, Amelie, she made it for me. She wove that basket herself, and I put some mudfish in it, and then when it's full, I takes it to the market, and I sells the mudfish. That's basically it. You know, there's basically like British people like to pretend they're like, actually, Paul, there's quite a diversity in British accents. You will find regionally very different accents, some ranging from almost unintelligible to, of course, the supremely elocutive High British. But really, there's just High British and Mudfish British. It's another thing they try and do to make themselves seem important. They grew up on a tiny little landlocked island, you know what I mean? And there's nowhere to go, really, so they have to pretend it's bigger than it is. So they're like, oh, yes, depending on where you are in the country, you may hear hundreds, if not thousands, of regional dialectical differences. But really, it's just that guy and like, oi, mate, how's it going? Listen, I'm going to go down to the pub. Would you like to go down to the pub with me and get yourself a pint? All right, mate, all right. Don't take it so hard. I was just trying to be friendly. First round's on me. I'm sorry, that was too generous to be an actual Brit. First round's on you, mate. Know what I mean? We don't take the subway, we take the tram. We don't push a stroller, we push a pram. Pram, 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 pram. Tram, 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 tram. That's basically England. If you clip the last 20 seconds of Highdeology, it's basically England. What's worse, Cockney or hillbilly? Cockney. Next. I can listen to a hillbilly guy that to most people, it sounds like when TJ's doing his unintelligible hillbilly shit. I tell you what, man, I don't know what to take you, and I took him down to the old road down to the river. Like that, like I make fun of that, but I'm telling you, dude, I'm 90% of the time I can understand that dude more than well enough to communicate with him. But Cockney, Sometimes one of those motherfuckers will hit you up and they're just like, oh, it's not a 40, and I was down the Rory and hitting up the pub seat, and then the Shirley called me on the telly. It was like, and I'm like, can I get a fucking translator, please? Is there subtitles on option in this? Can I? Called me on the telly. Yeah, dude. Pikey or Cajun. Cajun. Thoughts on whodunit movies like Knives Out? I watched Knives Out recently, and so I tried it once. Like I tried Knives Out, and when it like not to okay, so spoiler alert. Very early on in the movie, it seems like you've kind of know whodunit. But Knives Out, TJ told me he watched the whole thing and it was really good. So I tried it again and I actually really liked it. So I like a really good whodunit. But I got to be honest with you, it's getting harder and harder for me to think that a movie is a good whodunit because I just feel like I've seen so many of them and I've seen the tropes of them so many times that you really got to do, and I think Knives Out met that criteria as a more recent whodunit that I've seen. I think it met the criteria of like going above and beyond and doing something a little different. My name is Simon and I like to do drawings. I don't know. This one girl in New Orleans sounded like she was speaking a different language and ordering food. I mean, like I said, dude, I just, I grew up around some pretty heavy country ass, hillbilly ass shit. I can interpret pretty well. There might be some people like up in Appalachia that I might not have an easy time with, but 99% of your average generic American hillbilly, no matter what region they're from, I'm going to be able to understand them just fine. Twin Peaks is the best whodunit. Dude, Twin Peaks is continuing to blow my mind. Amelia and I have been watching Twin Peaks. We're drawing to the close of season 2 of the original series. About to move on to Firewalk with Me. It just, every episode elevates the show a little bit more. Twin Peaks is totally worth a watch, and especially now if you're stuck at home, if you're quarantining or find yourself staying at home for safety. Twin Peaks is great if you've never seen it. Wyndham Earle is great. Yeah, I mean, like every character in it is great. I was telling Amelia, like I didn't realize it at first, but there are a lot of similarities in tone and structure between Twin Peaks and American Horror Story, just in terms of, how there's no way that you can call what happens. It's a show that isn't afraid to be weird, isn't afraid to break its own rules, isn't afraid to surprise you every episode. What's it about? I couldn't even tell you, dude. You have to watch it. It's, in the very most basic way, it's about an FBI agent who comes to a tiny little town in Washington to investigate the murder of a young girl from the little town. But that is like saying that the Bible is a book about some stuff, or Das Kapital is a kind of a political thing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you can break the rules, but you got to know how to. Otherwise, it's lazy writing. Absolutely. No. That's absolutely true. And watching Twin Peaks is a great way. We're really watching a whole lot of David Lynch's work is a great way of seeing a filmmaker that was really great at breaking all of the rules. he really tried to defy every convention that he could, but still making just great, watchable, riveting shit that people love talking about. So it's another thing I disagree so heavily with TJ about. Like, I think David Lynch is pretty much a fucking certified genius. I have seen Eraserhead. It was a long time ago, though. I'm in the process, like, I think I'm going on a Lynch fucking rampage. So I think when my girlfriend and I finish up Twin Peaks and, you know, the fucking movie and the second season, I think we're just going to start watching all the Lynch movies. Go watch Eraserhead, watch Blue Velvet, watch fucking, you know, Mulholland Drive, Inland Empire, fucking Lost Highway. I really liked Lost Highway. I would say my favorite, if I had to pick a favorite David Lynch movie, and that's setting aside Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, which is a great film. So setting aside that and looking at it as more of a continuation of the TV show, I would say my favorite movie outside of the Twin Peaks saga would be Mulholland Drive. Yeah, you got to really, some people don't like surreal stuff. You really have to like surreal imagery, dream logic. You really have to be one of those people that's willing to let go of your expectations to enjoy a David Lynch movie. You have to be willing to be confused by a movie and be okay with it. You know what I mean? Or be confused by a show and be okay with it. And some people want something a lot more predictable and you know, less challenging. And sometimes I do too. I'm not always in the mood for David Lynch shit, but I really appreciate surrealism, and I really, really have a boner for dream logic in movies. It's something that I'm probably going to do a big video on someday. Not necessarily centering around David Lynch, but certainly mentioning David Lynch and then pointing out my favorite instances of dream logic used in films. Because it is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's not hard to find. Have you seen his interview with the monkey? Yeah, tried to watch it and couldn't get through it. Couldn't get through the interview with the monkey. It was a little off the rails, but you know, I'm not one of those guys that thinks that everything that David Lynch touches is necessarily gold. What is dream logic? Okay. So it's really kind of hard to, I'm sure that there's a technical definition of dream logic that you could go look up if you want a more succinct definition. But dream logic is instances used in film or a TV show where something happens that doesn't make sense in the real world, but it's accepted by everyone around as normal. For example, there's a door that's locked. This is a very rudimentary example of dream logic that doesn't really come from anything. There's a door that's locked. A character must get through that door, but it's locked. Right next to the door is a little end table with a drawer in it. The character walks over to that end table, and sitting on it is the key to the door. And they grab it without any thought, not even really surprised, just happy to have found the key, and put it into the door and are able to walk through. You know, that's a very rudimentary example. Well, it's not tangible. It's not something that's outside of reality necessarily. It bends the rules of reality in ways that are commonly agreed upon or not remarked upon by the characters in the show. Or if they are remarked upon in a way that alludes to the dream instead of meaning what they actually mean. So I'm sure somebody's done it. I would love to count the amount of instances, for example, in Twin Peaks, which is a David Lynch property, so it's heavily, heavily filled with dream logic. I would like to see if somebody's ever counted the amount of times someone in Twin Peaks mentions a dream. Life is a dream. I wonder if this is a dream. This is all just a dream, isn't it? Is this a dream? Am I dreaming? Am I awake right now? How do I know I'm awake right now? Every character in the film says it at least once. And some of them say it multiple times over the seasons. And I'm not even, finished with the second season. Is this a dream? Is that a dream? This is all, could this be a dream? This man has a dark dream. This is part of a dark dream. This must be a nightmare that we can't wake up from. But it's all used conversationally. They're using it, in the show. They're not actually they're using it like we would use it. Like, oh my fucking God, this is fucked up. Or am I dreaming? Right? But they're constantly pointing at it in the show. And then, yeah, like Amelia said above, the donuts. In Twin Peaks, whenever the cops are around, there's always a fresh pile of donuts, way more donuts than are needed for the 2 or 3 people that work in the Twin Peaks police department. And no matter where they are, there's always just a big pile of donuts, and it's just assumed. You know what I mean? Cops, donuts, they love it. Even if they're having a meeting out in the woods, somebody is going to bring a tray of donuts that is heaped so high that even if all 3 of the people there ate all day, they probably wouldn't finish them. Whenever the main character needs information, a ringing phone will be nearby. Sure. I mean, that can be lazy writing, or it can be overt use of dream logic. Characters acting in ways that aren't normal, but it being accepted by the people around as just part of that person's normal cycle of behavior. Or, it's hard to put your finger on it, but when you see it, you know it, Dream logic is wonderful. It's actually a hard thing to point out all the instances of it in some works, and David Lynch is a guy that uses it constantly. Things that are just there, things that work out, strange twists that make no sense but are just accepted by everyone around, strange introductions, strangers coming in and coming out of the dream space, new concepts being introduced all the time into the dream space, and the dream being constantly tangential. So it's like at one point you're pursuing one thing, and it's almost like for a time that thing goes away, and because your mind is tangentially gone to this other thing and you're pursuing this other thing. In Twin Peaks, there's and I'm not revealing anything about it, there's an establishment called One-Eyed Jacks that may or may not be the center of intrigue, and it's established in the very early episodes that it should be checked out. But even though it seems like it's the biggest lead in the case, it's just forgotten about for about 6 episodes because a tangent comes up that has to be pursued. We've been distracted down this road. We were headed towards One-Eyed Jacks, but now we've got to go over here and cross this bridge and go to this cabin, or we've got to go investigate this person. And if you think about it, that happens in a dream all the time. I can't tell you the amount of times I've had dreams where it's like there's this goal, right? I've got to get that. And then it's like, oh, fuck, there's a unicorn. And I go and all of a sudden I'm, or whatever it is, I'm doing something completely different. And then the dream somehow cycles back to it. It's like, oh, yeah, that sword I was supposed to get. A porno with dream logic. I'm sure they've been made. I love me some dreams. I can never call 911 in dreams. Yeah. There's a lot of things that, and that's another thing. It's just like that can be an instance of dream logic. It's like people not involving the police and things. It's like something crazy has happened, and 99% of people, their first instinct is to pick up the phone and call the police, but not in Twin Peaks. You know what I mean? That's like way down the list. When you try and punch something in a dream and it's all slowed down, Twin Peaks does a lot of that too. It's very like stuttery, framey cameras. Stuff is happening, and the fights are happening in slow motion, and yeah, it's a wild ride, man. It's definitely worth checking out. Paul is a fraud. A fraud? How am I a fraud, dude? If I'm doing something that's fraudulent, I want to stop. Don't ban this guy, by the way. Don't do it. How am I a fraud? I'll bite. The stream is a dream, yes. I had a dream a chicken died last night. Then I woke up and my favorite chicken was dead. Like I said, the beginning of the stream, shitty day. Dude, I told a story about a dream that I had months and months ago. It was almost a year ago, I think, where in the dream, my ex-wife sent me a package. And I opened the package, and it's this big bird cage, and there's an owl in it. And there's a note taped to the front of the bird cage, and I open it, and it says, "I am not taking care of your owl anymore. He's yours and not mine to take care of, and he's your responsibility. Signed, your ex-wife." And I was like, in the dream, I was like, oh, shit, man. I got to take care of this owl. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, what the fuck? What owl? You know what I mean? And that sounds like something that would happen in Twin Peaks to a character. If that happened in Twin Peaks to a character, if they were sent a derpy owl by their ex-wife, it would not shock me. Can you remember seeing the actual letters in the note? No. I just remember there was a note, and when I read it, that's what it said. I will not. And I remember the not was emphasized. Take care of your owl anymore. Signed, my ex-wife. It was my owl. It was my responsibility. Yep. Dream logic. And then, of course, one that's even more easy to recognize and even more prevalently used in movies, more widely spread, is nightmare logic, which is closely linked, of course, to dream logic, but different in a number of ways. Usually, instead of funny or haphazard or strange or worrying, they are scary, of course. So a lot of horror movies use nightmare logic. When somebody is running away from the bad guy and they can't stop tripping, or somebody is running away in heels and they don't kick the heels off to run. They just keep allowing the heels to trip them up on the fucking woods and shit. Now, this is sometimes lazy movie making, and sometimes it is a deliberate attempt at the movie maker, the scriptwriter, the filmmaker, the cinematographer, or all three, to inject nightmare logic into the film, to invoke nightmares that we've all had, to allow access to a more primal fear in the movie, to affect people more. The teleporting slasher, exactly. You know, Jason we never see him move faster than a mosey, and yet somehow a chick runs half a mile into a building and he's already in it, you know. Try to find the monster and it doesn't do anything, right? Yeah. You try and punch Freddy and your fist just goes through him. I don't remember my first nightmare, but I remember my first recurring nightmare. And I've told the story of it before, but it's pretty crazy. My first recurring nightmare started in my old family home that I was raised in out in the country near Madera. It's actually Madera County. I think it's still technically in Madera, but it's way out in the country. And back when I was a kid, a really little kid, before smog and forest fires were a huge thing in California all the time, you could see the Sierra Nevada mountains from my house, from my front porch, and from my dining room window. There was a beautiful view of the snow-capped Sierra Nevadas. I could see heavenly. I could see, it was just beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. And it started there. And it started with my dad grabbing me by the hand. And he would walk me through the house. And we would pass by my mom. And he would say, grab your mother. And I would grab my mom's hand. And he would keep walking. And we were walking towards the garage, which led out into the breezeway, which led out into the front yard. So we were walking through the laundry room into the breezeway. So we're heading through the kitchen, and my little sister would be there. And he would tell my mom, grab the baby. So my mom would scoop up my little sister. And we would go and we would stand on my front lawn in a line together, holding hands, looking at the mountains. And all of the sudden, a giant wave would come crashing over the mountains. And it would come at me incredibly fast, and we would all just stand there, and it would hit, and then I would wake in a cold sweat and feeling like I couldn't breathe and shit. And that nightmare plagued me every night as a kid for a long time. It made it impossible for me to sleep sometimes. It started this shit that went on until I was about like 7 years old, where I would like go into my parents' room at night and try and sneak into bed with them because I was just so fucking afraid to have dreams again. Nowadays, I luckily, as I've gotten older, and this is pretty common actually, kids tend to have more vivid dreams than adults a lot of the time. Some adults vivid dream constantly all the way through. Some people dream way more vividly as children, and I'm one of those people that dreamed way more vividly and often as a child. And so I don't really have any currently recurring dreams. But it hasn't been that long since I had recurring dreams. They're just not always that memorable. Like I've had recurring dreams probably a couple of years ago. I think I had a recurring dream about doing laundry where I would empty the basket and I'd put it in the washer and I'd stand there and I'd watch the clothes get washed, and the washer would buzz, and I would take them out of the washer and I'd put them in the dryer. And I'd put in the dryer sheet, and I'd turn that on, and I'd listen to it, blah, 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 blah. And I'd take them out of the dryer, and I'd put them in a pile so I could go fold them, and I'd go to grab the empty hamper, and it's full again. And I'm like, fuck, there's another load? Okay. So I'd throw that in, and that just, there were nights, and this was a couple of years ago, there were nights where it would happen like every night. There were weeks where it was like every night I'd have this laundry dream. It's not super memorable. It's not super, notable, but I still am prone to them, but they don't happen anywhere near as often as when I was a kid. Oh yeah, dude. I've had noises. Like I go to sleep a lot listening to, clips of the old Howard Stern show or depositions or just kind of weird people talking stuff. And I've had, that type of stuff creep into my dreams. Tell the one about the radio. Yeah. So I read the book It when I was a kid, and I was very young. And I've told you guys before that I started reading at a super young age. So I was reading adult novels by the time I was like 7. And I read It at about that age, I think 7 or 8 years old. And I might have been a little older. I might have been 9. But in that range. And I had a dream one night that so I used to, when I was a kid, not be able to get to sleep if there wasn't like music playing. I had a little radio. It was an old stereo that my parents used to use. They got an upgrade and they gave it to me because when I was a baby, I slept better with music. And so when I still to this day kind of play something when I sleep. I have an easier time going to sleep if there's like a book on tape playing or somebody talking or whatever. So the songs would creep into this dream that were playing on the radio. So I would hear the radio. And in the dream, it was like I was floating above myself. It was like looking down at myself from a perspective that would not be possible in my room because the ceiling would have had to be way too high. I could see the whole room. I could see myself laying in the bed. I could see my little stereo system with the fucking turntable on top that I never used and the big fat dials on the front sitting next to the bed. I could see the closet at the foot of the bed. I could see the door out of my room. I could see everything in my room. And I sat there and I watched it. And I could hear the music playing on the radio. So I could listen to the songs. And a lot of these songs were very familiar to me. So I'm listening to the songs and I'm watching myself. And then all of a sudden a commercial would come on. And it would be like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. This is just a word from our sponsors here on 95.7 The Fox. Come right back. 25 more uninterrupted minutes of music here on The Fox. You know, and then it's like, here at Walgreens, we strive to provide you with the best customer service. So when that happened, I noticed there was movement in the room from at the foot of the bed in the closet. And I immediately, from up above in that perspective, my eyes were drawn to the closet. And the closet opened. Like it was one of those sliding door closets. You guys ever seen those closets that have like two sliders? It was one of those types of closets. It has like sliding doors instead of like an open door. So it was one of those kind of shallow sliding door closets. And it opened like a crack. It was like, and I was like, I remember in the dream just being up there going, what is that? And the commercials kept going. It was like, Frank's Car Wash. Come on down to Frank's Car Wash. That's right. Today, limited time only. That is today, Sunday, June the 20th. You can get a car wash for $2.99. It comes with a free wax at the end, blah, 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 you know. And like, I'm watching the closet and it opens a little wider, you know. And like, to make a long story short, this would go on. And then a song would start playing and the door would close. It would be like, my heart's not in it, you know, or whatever the fuck. Sister Christian, won't you help me find, you know, and I'm just sitting there. And then eventually, all right, everybody, coming up after these messages, 20 more minutes of uninterrupted rock here on 95.7 The Fox, your place for classic rock here in the Central Valley. And it would be, you know, it's a pizza, it's a pizza. Come on down to Papalo's Pizza, where we'll make, you know, and I was like, you know, I'm floating up there, and I'm just like, oh my God. Eventually, long story short, I started seeing like a hand reaching out. And it was just a wet, I don't even know how to explain it. It's stringy hair, wet. The best way I can explain it to you, let me see if I can find it. I can't remember what her name is, but it's in the movie Legend. I'd seen this movie at the time that I had this dream. And so I've always, you know, when I try and describe this to people, I mean, this is the best I'm able to do usually. Let's see if this is good enough for you guys to get an idea. So this is, I can't remember what her name, but this is like the bog witch from Legend, that comes out of the fucking bog and almost kills Tom Cruise on his way to Darkness's castle. It was fingers like that, long, pointy, wet, long fingernails just reaching out. So anyway, slowly but surely, and it really wasn't this thing. It wasn't exactly this thing. It was a hideous, shambling beast. Long story short, as the night went on, it would come out. Like it got more brave every time there was commercials, and it would open the door more, and then more of it would come out, and slowly but surely it started to try and make its way over to the bed where I was sleeping. And it was at that point I started to try and yell at myself because I could see myself down there, started to yell, but it was just all I could hear was the music, you know, or the commercial or whatever it was. You know, and the dream would always end with the thing right over me. You know, it would always end with the thing almost about to get me, and I would wake up. And I'd be in the room that the dream took place in, thinking that that thing was in my room still, and looking at my fucking closet, and it would be open a crack, and I'd be like, oh my fucking God. And I'd lay there like paralyzed with fear. And there was times that, dude, I had that dream for months when I was a kid. Months. Like months, it would happen every fucking night. And it's like, whoa. Do you think something in real life trigger these dreams? I think sometimes they do, and then I think sometimes it's just an obsessive way that the mind works out certain problems. I mean, I'm sure that some dreams are meaningful and some dreams are meaningless, and some dreams are blends of the two, and most dreams are probably blends of the two. And trying to just, you know, psychoanalyze myself at 7 or 8 years old when I was having this dream, I don't know. As a kid, I would have sleep paralysis, shadowy figures coming into my room. And see, here's the thing. I didn't know what sleep paralysis was when I was a kid. I had it as an adult a few times, and so I know I'm prone to it. I haven't had it in many years, but I know I'm prone to sleep paralysis. And I know what it feels like. It's horrible. So there's a good Meg Mucklebones. There you go. That is her name. What a great name for her. Have you murdered someone on a dream? Typically, no. I don't typically have like real murderous dreams. I'm sure it's happened, but memorably, typically, like I typically have dreams where I can't do something that I need to do. Like if I need to punch somebody, it misses. If I need to shoot a gun, it misfires, or it's empty, or, you know, every shot misses. It's like one of those types of things. Like my dreams, like if they involve combat and shit like that, don't tend to be me like beating people up or kicking people's asses to the moon or whatever. You know, it tends to be like a fruitless endeavor that really doesn't benefit either side of the fight. It's like they can't land a hit on me either. So it's very strange. You've horrifically murdered people in dreams. Yeah, see, I've never not I would remember it probably if I did, cuz I'm very sensitive to that type of shit, so that would be a full-blown nightmare to me. And like I've never done anything like that in a dream. So I've had like, you know, grisly murder scenes in dreams, and I've had like, you know, where it's like I walk in on a murder scene, or, you know, there's a murderer that's after me. I've had a lot of those for sure. But accidentally killed someone. I've had it, dude. I had a pretty cool dream one time where and it wasn't even like a suicidal dream. It wasn't edgy like that. Here's the whole dream. I'll tell you guys the whole fucking dream. It was actually pretty fucking cool. I think it was Japan. Okay. Now I can't tell you why I think it was Japan, other than like the building that I looked at looked kind of Japanese, and the area that I looked at kind of had like that Japanese Tokyo kind of look to it, right? And I saw this big tall building, and I was like, I want to climb to the top of that building. So I went in the building, and I got in an elevator, and I went up a bunch of stairs, and eventually I was able to go out onto the very roof of this building. And I looked over, and I was like, I want to jump off this building. And like I said, like in the dream, it wasn't like, it's all over, man. I just got to kill myself, man. It was just like, I'm going to jump off this fucking building. That's it. I'm just done. Now, like in the building, I knew it was going to kill him, or in the dream, I knew it was going to kill me, but it wasn't like, you understand, the intent wasn't there. It was just like, I'm jumping off this building. So I jumped off the building, right? I was like, and I got that great like falling in a dream sensation. It was like, and I hit the ground and it was like, boom, but I didn't feel anything. There was no impact. It wasn't even like a pillow or anything. It was just like I hit the ground. Like I was aware that I had hit the ground and hurt like my body had taken damage, but I didn't feel anything. There was no impact. There was nothing. And I got up and I looked, and like my body was all like mangled. Like I remember looking down at it was gory. Like I looked down and I was all crushed and like bloody, but I couldn't feel a thing. I was just like, whoa. And I got to my feet and I walked around for a second. I was like, dude, I'm fine. I think I can do it again. And I went back up to the top of the building, jumped again. And I'd fall and I'd get back up, and I was more, even more fucked up each time. And I probably jumped off the building 8 or 10 times in the dream. It was pretty cool. I always wished, I was like, when I woke up from that dream, I was like, dude, I hope that's a recurring dream for a while. But it wasn't. It was a one-timer. It was a one-timer dream. What are you going to do? If I die in a dream, it just keeps on going. Like my dream is from the perspective of no one. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to try and end the video before the 2-hour mark to see if if I go over 2 hours, it takes like 6 days for YouTube to process like the first 30 minutes of the show. And I'm pretty tired. And I don't feel like I'm prematurely pulling the plug at 1:57 and change. So thank you guys for stopping by. It's been cool. I'll check you guys out next time. This is just kind of like an experiment to see if this whole fucking thing goes up. I hate YouTube. It sucks. Good night, everybody.